Hey guys, what's up? This is Katelyn. Welcome back to the channel. I am starting a new fun little segment here on the channel called the 100 Dragon Challenge. So first and foremost, you guys know I love dragons. That's an obvious thing. But where this whole thing started from was there's a great talk by Jake Parker. So I do know that I'm doing it a little bit different than how Jake described it in his video, but at least this one spurred on the idea. So his original video goes into basically designing 100 of the same general type of thing, like you have some baseline criteria and you design 100 of that thing in that same type of category. Watch the video, I'll have a link down in the bio, but I'm taking that idea and slightly modifying it. So I already love dragons, and I know that you might see this as kind of cheating by picking something I like, but you know, I haven't been feeling as, I guess, creative like I used to be, specifically with dragons. Like, I feel I keep falling into the same ones over and over in my sketchbook. So I really wanted to branch out and try to do something, obviously, that I enjoy, that I'm gonna have a lot of fun making these videos with. And, you know, just something that will reinvigorate my love of dragons and, you know, make a really cool book at the end of it. 100 fucking cool dragons, I am down for that. So let's just go ahead and jump in. So first of all, for these prompts, where they're gonna be coming from is, right now I have on my Discord channel a 100 Dragon Challenge chat group where you can post ideas and suggestions for the prompts that I'll be doing. I will also have a Twitter post available where you can put your 1 to 3 word prompts on and reply to that tweet directly. So you can either go join the Discord, which I'll have a link down in the description, or you can go post it on that Twitter, and either one, your prompt might be selected for the 100 something that I'm going to be doing. So the first one is from Sketchyon over on Discord for a radioactive zombie dragon. So when I jumped into this one, I started off with some rough sketches to try to get some ideas down on paper, and it's kind of funny because I've noticed a pattern with myself whenever I draw any type of like zombie-y radioactive thing. One thing I noticed really quickly in these sketches, and especially when I get into the color, because this monster, or this dragon, shares a very similar color palette to a monster I made for my old manga Jade Dragon called a Hellhound, which was this zombie weird amalgamation of like long-limbed dog horse thing. I'll have a picture pop up here somewhere just to show you guys, but I made that monster forever ago, and I notice whenever I draw something zombie-ish or like dying or dead, I tend to kind of gravitate back towards that type of design and look. So I will totally admit that this looks like a dragon version of my Hellhound, because, you know, that's just how I see zombies. They have these like purplish, greenish, decaying skin. I kind of added some extra little bits with like multiple eyes to really give the radioactive look. That's the same thing with like the horns and the teeth, and just adding all these extra things growing on it, like the boils and hives, and have the rip in the back of the skin for more of the zombie, but it also works for radioactive. Fun fact, which I'm sorry if I bring down the mood, but when I was in high school, I went to Japan for 2 weeks, and we went to the Hiroshima Memorial, and there was a couple of different paintings and I guess displays. They weren't like models, but basically how they described people that were affected by the radiation from the bombs was, it was as if their skin was literally melting off. And I remember vividly some of those paintings and pictures that were in the museum. It literally looked like people's skin was just melting off the muscles and bones. So I kind of also wanted to replicate that here, since it was a radioactive zombie. I had different parts kind of falling off of like the bones and the muscles and the tissue, and then later on the chest I also added it, I guess like it looks like layering or like a weird melting effect on its chest of the skin as well. And I think it accomplished it pretty well, and this guy was honestly like a ton of fun to do. He had a lot of little details, like from the boils to the spines that are just coming out of nowhere, but I had a blast just adding like, here, let's just add another eye here, because, you know, he's radioactive, we might as well just add that, and let's do another horn, and let's like split his ear weird. And it was a lot of fun, and I had a blast just adding all these little things. So just to give you, I guess, more of a technical insight, so on here I'm using my Micron pens. I started out, I think, with a 0.5 fine liner, and then a 0.3, I don't remember, shit. I was like, oh, here, let's go into technical, and I don't remember anything. But I started out with 2 fine liners, and then I went in with a brush pen to solidify some of the overlaying lines and the outer contour of it. And then I tested out a couple of different Copic colors to try to get that purples and greens and yellows that I really wanted from this one. And after I settled on those, I jumped in and started coloring the different parts. I remember right before I was going to start with the eyes, I couldn't decide if I wanted them yellow or orange or keep them this like really milky pale white. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with them, but I went with yellow because I wanted to make sure that they stood out really nicely against the purple of the skin, and I thought that would look very nice since they're both complementary colors. And then on top of it, the muzzle of this dragon is bone, like the skin and muscle has basically fully pulled away from the front of it. So I wanted to make sure that the eyes didn't look like just, I don't know, whitish bone, like they still had some muscle and like, I can't talk today. Basically, it still had its eyeballs instead of just bone. And I wanted to make sure that the bone was for sure the white and the eyes were the yellow, if that makes sense. It was a long day, guys. You're gonna have to bear with me as I figure out what to talk about in these videos sometimes. And then I wanted to also expose a little bit of the gums. I thought that'd be kind of interesting to show them receding away from the teeth and also kind of melting with the skin as well. I also added some shading to the horns and teeth, which I used like I forgot what the name of the color is, but it's a very, 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 very light, like purple. It's like a grayish light purple, and I thought that added a really nice shading effect to it that also complemented the skin colors later on. And then I decided to make the boils more of a green. I thought that's gonna complement the radioactive element that I add in a little bit later to add a little bit more color and pop to this piece. So then after that, we jump into doing the purples, and I think one of the main reasons why I like doing purple with zombies is it kind of reminds me of like bruising of the skin and just the decay and the potential of like the blood rising to the surface more as this body is dying. So I really liked having purple as the main base color for this creature. Plus it complemented all the other colors. Like I said already, it was nice to have those bright yellow eyes and the greens, and I just felt it worked really well with the prompt and the piece overall. So then finally we added in a little bit of shadow and shading with this more darker bluish purple, and then we do a final blend on everything. I want to make sure all the purples blended pretty well. Like if I just lay them on as is, they just kind of look like a weird contrast of colors since I used pretty different purples and blues. So I went through and did a lot of blending and layering to see if I could get them to, I guess, play nice together. And I think overall the purples turned out really good, and I really like how they meshed and melded together. And now with the purples done, I wanted to add a little bit extra flair to really sell the idea that this thing was radioactive. So I thought it'd be really cool to add a really bright, limeish, green, bubbly effect around it that just like looks like it's oozing radiation coming off of its skin. I know radiation isn't like bubbles or anything, but I still think it conveys the idea really well, and I just like what it added to the piece overall. Alright, and that is it for the first of the 100 dragons, and I think this was a great way to start this series. This one was really fun and a great challenge to do, and I'm really excited to start tackling the other dragons. But before that, I would love to see what you guys would do if you interpreted this prompt. So how this is going to work is every time I post one of these 100 Dragons videos, I will feature the previous dragon art submissions. So if you would like to submit your interpretation of this week's prompt to potentially be featured in the next 100 Dragon video, make sure to use this hashtag KM100Dragons on either Twitter or Instagram, and I will pick some of my favorites to feature in the next video. So I can't wait to see what you guys do with interpreting Radioactive Zombie Dragon, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video. Bye everybody.